The next award, which is for Best Game Design of the Year for 2006, this particular game also randomly happened to win Best Story and Narrative of a Casual Game in 2006. And the winners for Best Game Design and Best Story and Narrative are Bookworm Adventures by Podcast.
Arena. Adventure.
Ha!
I'm here with Jason Kapalka, creator of Bookworm Adventures. He's just won the Zeeby for Best Narrative, Best Story, and Best Game Design. That's pretty exciting, man. Did you ever expect this was going to happen?
No, we didn't even know that the Zeebys only existed this year, so of course there was no anticipation of him winning any awards after all.
Right. Well, you know, I got to say, Bookworm Adventures is one of the hottest games of the year. You know, when you guys were coming up with the story and the design of it, I mean, what went into that?
Gosh, well, there's several people involved back at PopCap, Tyson Henderson and Jeff Weinstein, as well as Steve Notley, who did a lot of the story for it. The plan was just, we wanted to make something that was funny and interesting, at the same time realizing that people don't want to read a lot of stuff. So it was just trying to keep it very light and not, you know, pages and pages of boring text that people skip through.
Right, well, I know the hero, Lex, who is the bookworm, basically gets sucked into the story. Did that ever happen to you as a kid?
Yeah, you know, in a metaphorical sense, I think the bookworm games are about the, you know, without getting too heavy-handed or educational about it, we did want to kind of have, you know, a little bit of that sense of you know, books and literature and fiction and, you know, being kind of the powerful forces, so.
Okay, so obviously this is the type of game that can improve your vocabulary. You know, I'm curious, what is your best six-letter word for the hottest casual game award show that you can give me?
Could it be the
Zeebys.
Zeebys.
There you go. See, his vocabulary is improving already.
I'm getting better every day.
So when you guys go to design titles, what goes into that process? Because I think a lot of fans would like to know.
Gosh, we don't have a real set way of doing things. Ideas sort of come from wherever, and sometimes, in the case of Bookworm Adventures, I'd start off with a design spec in which the Lex wasn't even in the first design. It was actually just wizards fighting monsters in sort of a Dungeons and Dragons type setting. It didn't really come together until someone suggested, hey, you know, we've got this character Lex from Bookworm, and maybe it would be cool if he was in there.
Well, it is kind of an odd match, obviously, the role-playing, the Dungeons and Dragons fantasy and monsters convention, because Lex goes through the storyline fighting all these beasties. How did you pull that?
Well, it was actually a big concern. I mean, that was one of the worries was whether people who like word games were going to be able to, you know, handle a game in which, you know, they're fighting creatures and collecting treasures and so on. It was a real concern, and we spent a lot of time during the creation of the game making sure that we introduced those conventions slowly so that it wouldn't scare, you know, the bejeweled players and so on by bringing in bits at a time.
Well, speaking of scared, I mean, what is your favorite monster in the whole game? You've got Cyclops, you've got wolves, you've got Greek warriors. I mean, who scares the pants off you?
I have a sort of fondness for the flying pig. He's just got and there's the sheep in chapter 1 that has a little punching animation.
Yeah, he does look pretty dangerous there.
Everyone kind of likes a little punching sheep.
So I have to ask the question that I personally, and I think everyone out there would really like to know. Does Lex have a last name, maybe Luthor?
No, Lex doesn't have a last name yet, but he does have a sordid past, and you might see some of his relatives in the next Bookworm game.
Scary. You heard it first here at the Zeebys.